So hello everyone, in this video we are going to see another array based question which is move zeros to end of the array. So in this video we are going to see two approaches of solving this problem. The first one is big O of n square approach and the second one is big O of n approach. So let's read the problem first. I'll be attaching the problem statement and the code link in the description box. You can check from there. So let's see the problem statement first. So first of all, input is given to us, input array is given to us, and in that input array there are some zeros. So what we have to do is we have to take these zeros to the end of the array. So the output array will look something like this: 8, 5, 10, 20 and 0 and 0. So however the number of whatever be the number of zeros, they will be moved towards the end of the array. So let's see the first approach that we have, which is the big O of n square approach. In this approach, what we will do is, first of all, let's see from the example itself: 8, 5, 0, 10, 0, 20. So this is our input array. Okay. So now what we will do is we will first of all check for all the elements from starting. So we will check for 8. Since 8 is a non-zero element, we will not do anything. We will simply move to the next element. Again, we will check for the next element. 5 is a non-zero element. We will not do anything. We will move to the next element. Now we have encountered a number which is 0. So since we got the number 0, what we will do is, now in this case we will start looping from the next element of 0 till the end. So we will start looping until we get a non-zero element. For 0, we will start to loop we will run another loop from 10, 0, 20. So now we will compare 0 with 10, and since the number that we have got now is 10, which is a non-zero number, what we will do is we will simply swap these two, and the array that we have at this point of time will be something like this. We have swapped these two. So our array will be something like this at this point of time. Now we have reached at this 0. So again we have a 0. So now what we will do is we will start another loop from the next element. Since the next element also is the first element of the next loop is also a 0, we will do nothing. We will move ahead and we will check the next element. Now we have got another non-zero element. So what we will do is we will simply swap these two numbers. So at this point of time, we will be having a array something like this, and finally when we will reach this 0, there is no more elements ahead of it, so this will be our output array. Again, let's see one more example: 0, 0, 0, 10, 0. Okay, so in this case the first element is 0, so what we will do is we will start another loop from the next element. So again the element that we have is 0, so we will not do anything. We will move ahead. Again the element is 0, we will not do anything. Again, now we have got another non-zero element. What we will do is we will swap these two. So at this point of time our array will look something like this. Now we will check for this 0. So for this 0, another for loop that will run will traverse these and will not find any other non-zero number. So it will this 0 will remain as it is, and once this loop runs, the array will be same only, and similarly it will check for all the next zeros and it will not find any other non-zero number. So the output will be this only, which is 10 followed by zeros. So this is the big O of n square approach. Let's see how we can write the function for this. We simply will take a function move 0, and which will take the arguments as array and the n, which is the size of the input array. So what we will do is we are traversing the given input array from 0 to n. Let's understand this by taking the example. So 10, 8, 0, 0, 12, 0. So we have this example. We will simply traverse this entire array by using this for loop I equals to 0 to I less than n. Then in each iteration we will check if the array value is 0 or not. So first of all we will check array is not 0, so we will not do anything. We will simply increment our I value. So we will reach the second element. We will check the second element. Second element is also not 0. We will not do anything. We will simply move on to the next element and increment the I value. So now in the third, in this case, at the third element we found that the element is 0. So we hit this condition, which is if array of I equals to 0, yes it is, this condition holds true. We will simply move inside this if condition and we will run another loop from the next element, which is int j is equals to I plus 1. That is, from here till here we will run one loop. So int j equals to I plus 1 till j is less than n, j plus plus, and we will traverse this loop, traverse this remaining array, you can say, until and unless we get a non-zero number. So we will check if array of j is less than 0. So sorry, is not equal to 0. So array of j, this element is 0. So this condition holds true. We will increment our j value. We will come at this position 12. So the element that we have now is 12. We will compare if array of j is not equals to 0. Yes, array of j is not equals to 0, which is 12. So what we will do is we will simply swap array of I, whatever our I value currently is, which is this and this element, we will simply swap them, and after swapping we will have this element as something like this. So once this is done, we will simply move on to the next element now. So again for this 0 we will check, and the other loop that we will run will be for these two zeros, and since they will not find any other non-zero number simply, so finally our output will be this output array. So this was big of AND square approach. Now we will be seeing big of AND approach. So in big of AND approach, basically what we will do, we will take the example array as, in this case we will not traverse using two for loops, we will use only a single for loop to reach our answer. So first of all what we will do is we will set a count variable to 0. Okay, then we will traverse the entire array using a for loop. So when I equals to 0, which means at this position, we will check if our array value is not equals to 0. Yes, it is not equals to 0, 10 is not equals to 0. Then simply what we will do is we will simply we can say swap, we will do this, swap array of I with array of count. Just simple case, simple one condition is there, and we will increment our count value if the array element is a non-zero. So since 10 is non-zero, so what we will get is array of I is 10, array of count, which means that array of 0. So 10 will come at its own position and the array will be same only. Now at I equals to 1, which is this 8, again we will swap array of I with array of count, and previously we have incremented our count value, which is 1. So 8 will come at its own position, and again the array will look similar only. We will move ahead with I equals to 2. So at I equals to 2 we have 0. So for 0 we will not check, we will simply move ahead, and at I equals to 3 we will check, again it is a 0, we will not check. Now I equals to 4, we have a non-zero element, so what we will do is we will do swapping of array of I with array of count. So array of count is at the first position, which means that this. So when we have done the last iteration, we have increased the value as 2. So this value we will swap both of them. So the array will look something like this. So when we have swapped, 12 will come here. Simply when we will move ahead with I equals to 5, we were at I equals to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we were at this position. Now when we will check for I equals to 5, it is again a 0 value, so we will do nothing, and when we will move to the next element, we have traversed the array completely. So in this way we have taken big O of n time, and we have moved all the 0 elements to the end of the array. So let's see how we can write this function. So in this case we have taken a move 0 function, which is taking array, and n is the argument, n is the size of the array. So initially we are setting the count value as 0, and we are traversing the entire array from 0 to till the end of the array, and we are checking for every element if array of I is not equals to 0, then we are simply swapping array of I with array of count, and we are increasing our count value as we have seen in the example. So once this entire loop runs, we will be having the output array with all the zeros at the end of the array. So now let's see the code for both of the approaches, big O of n square and big O of n. So this is a big O of n square approach code where we have taken a move 0 function. We are running first loop from I equals to 0 to n. Then we are checking for every element. If the array element is 0, then in that case we will run another loop from I plus 1 to n, and we will check if array of j is not equals to 0, then in that case we will swap array of I and array of j, and once we have swapped them, we will simply break out of the second loop and we will increment our I value again, and we will do the same process again and again. And when the entire loop is completely run, we will simply print out all the elements of the array in which all the zeros are at the end of the array. So when we run this code, our output would be something like that, in which the zeros are at the end, which means that 8, 5, 10, 20, 0 and 0. So you can see that zeros are at the end. So let's see the next code now, which is taking big O of n time. So let's try to run this code. This is simple code where we have taken a count variable, and using that we have done the swapping, and finally we have print out all the elements. So you can see that in the input array we had the elements as 8, 5, 0, 10, 0, 20, and in the output we have got the values as 8, 5, 10, 20, 0, 0 with the so we have zeros at the end of the array in this example. So that's all for this video. If you want to see more such videos, you can check the playlist section of my channel, and thank you.